An estuary is a really critical piece of our landscape, and it's really the main connection between the land and the sea. All kinds of really important things happen there. It's a transfer point for materials, for energy, for organisms. The color of water in an estuary such as this one that's very dark is certainly not something that someone used to going to the Bahamas is going to expect. But it indicates that it has a lot of fresh water coming into it. There's a lot of materials transport, and it ends up being an indicator really of the support of a very productive system. What we're looking at is sun tea, and that's literally what it is. The color in the water is dissolved complex organic compounds, mostly carbon, that have formed in the wetlands up in the watershed and have been transported down to the estuary. The dissolved organics are really complex molecules, and they absorb light, and so they appear brown to us. There are different types. It's not just one compound, it's a whole host of them, and they're really high molecular weight. Not everything can use them as a food source, but certainly they support a number of organisms. The color in the water is not a pollutant per se. It's really indicative of fresh water entering the estuary. And the more wetlands you have up in your watershed, the more highly colored your water is going to be. And we can learn a lot about an estuary by reviewing either the way energy moves through the system, or we can look at pools of carbon, and color is one of those important pools of carbon. As it's transported down through the estuary, now it can precipitate when it comes into contact with salt. That precipitated organics makes this little fine particulates. Now the bacteria can munch on that. The bacteria can release nutrients for the phytoplankton, and then the fish eat the phytoplankton, and so on. All estuaries have color in them, more or less. It depends on the type of soils that are in the watershed, depends on the amount of wetlands that are in the watershed, also depends on the size of the watershed.
Visit the Charlotte Harbor National Estuary Program website